Hey, what's up, everybody? We are doing our super deep chess analysis with subscribers. It's Thursday. Macro Panda and I feeling good. What's up, guys? International Master William Paschall here. Starting a little late. My Thursday schedule's pretty tight, so it's just one thing after another since about 9 o'clock this morning. Not a lot of free time between responsibilities. Time for a beer, chilling out with you guys. We're going to do some in-depth analysis with the subscribers. Astrobate Warnaki. I've got the list here. Thursday subscribers. Stream. Here's the list. Yubatis, Nefedov. Good. We haven't seen Nefedov lately. Astrobate, Savadog, Dragon B, Warnaki. Good 40%, and I said Savadog twice. That's weird. Savadog must have resubmitted something. Okay, I think that was something else. That must not have been about that. Okay, what's Savadog? I found some interesting games on chess games. Okay. Great. Alright, he's talking about something else, I thought. Specifically asking me a question about a chess player. This is not about the Thursday game submission, right, Savadog? Warnaki, thank you for the donation. I got 2 Savadogs. We're going to cross them off the list. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got room for a couple more. Warnaki, thank you for the donation, guys. Jim with 600, Astrobate 525, Dragon BC 500, Warnaki, Merle Dixon, and WJ with donations this week. Thank you, guys. It's extremely hot. I almost went topless for the stream, but I was afraid. Thanks, Astrobate. I was afraid it might set Bob off if I did. He might just go over the edge. So, Spectacular Camel got back for the stream. You are up first, my friend. We're knocking Astrobate with donations. Spectacular Camel in the house. It's hard for you European guys. Bill's here. Otherwise known as Donator. WJ Loof. No, that's different. I got Bill and WJ Loof confused. Alright. I don't know why did I get Bill and WJ Loof confused. Maybe his name is Bill too. That's why. Alright, anyways. We're getting started here. That's a good question, Spectacular Camel. We should actually check the Twitch terms of service. It would be like sexist if men were allowed to be topless and not women. I'll have to wear a bikini if I do that. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Everyone is here. Yubatis, we're starting with that. No, the humidity is really bad at the moment. Secret opening prep. I'm not going to reveal your secret opening prep here, Yubatis. This is not the right message either. We're giving away Yubatis' secret endgame analysis. Secret something. Uber driver. Wait a second here. Uber driver sent out a message. I didn't think that was a submission for this. When Uber driver gets in, guys, let's ask him if he intended this as a submission for the Thursday stream. That wasn't my impression, but we'll double check. Bill 2 WK has a FIDE rating for the first time. Only 1900. That's solid, man. Only definitely not appropriate there. No, Yubatis, where's your game? You sent it quite a while ago, that's why. Okay, here. 50 minutes ago? 6 days ago. Is this it? This has to be the one, right? Let's just read that again. Play this really interesting game. This one is worthy for submission to the stream. The first half of the game I was under time pressure. Under a bit of pressure, but managed to untangle, mount a counterattack. Wow, Anonymous Cheerer strikes again. We got an emote thanks to Anonymous Cheerer's Mega Cheer. Add a message. Thanks. Thanks for the fight, Smoothie. It's a fight, Smoothie. Alright, I don't know who the Anonymous Cheerer is, but thank you. Wow, super generous. 1,000 bits. Anonymous Cheer doesn't even want credit. Great way to start the stream, guys. I've had a very hard day. Not a bad day, just a hard day. Alright, we need this beer. So, Ubatis is white, knight f3. He's been playing knight f3. d5, King's Indian attack. Ubatis, are you influenced by me at all? Because I've been playing this stuff a lot myself. And you have been watching my stream over the last couple of years. Well, how long? Like, have you been watching my stream? A while. I don't want to take credit for Ubatis' opening repertoire, but you know what's funny? I play this stuff a lot, but I never really used to. Like, this was never my main repertoire. It's something that I think I started playing out of more like laziness since I stopped playing. Like, since I stopped playing full time, stopped playing really regularly, I feel like knight f3 is easy to play. But particularly knight f3 with g3 is kind of lazy but easy to play opening. King's Indian attack is lazy play. I admit it, I admit it. But I have a lifetime of experience. I mean, I played the King's Indian a lot with black in my previous life, so. Now, Ubatis Castle, he's not interested. I like the reverse Grunfeld. I used to play the Grunfeld when I was coming up. So, it's nice to be a tempo up in the Grunfeld. Castle's e5. I'll be frank, though. I never really liked this reverse King's Indian. I feel like it gives black too much. I think that Merle, no, not Uber Driver, in fact, maybe like the reverse Grunfeld. Hopefully Uber Driver will be in the house later. I want to ask him if his submission. My stream isn't showing up. Uh-oh. That's weird. Why is it not showing up on lichess? You guys have any clue? Why my stream would not? Maybe they're just faulty, or maybe my new update to Streamlabs did something weird. What would cause me? Actually, Streamlabs should have no relation to whether my stream shows up on lichess or not. It's just really down to Twitch. I got lichess.org in the title. Anybody have a clue why my stream wouldn't show up? Maybe lichess is operating Moobot? What about Moobot? Jim, do you think Moobot has something to do with it? Moobot is secretly? Are anybody's streams showing up on lichess? Are there other streams visible on lichess? Today I tried to log into my bank account online, and I noticed that like with Firefox, I couldn't click on the hyperlinks in my bank account to see like my recent transactions. But when I went to Chrome, I could actually access it. For example, it says some are. Well, I think they're just discriminating now. No streams visible. Anyway, we'll see. D3, F5, the 4 pawns attack reversed. So now Ubatis is really obsessed with Queen E1. I mean, Queen E1 against the 4 pawns attack seems like you're going too far. The classic way to play against the 4 pawns attack is C4 Benoni. And I think that E4 here is definitely your tempo up. I really like E4. Just going for it, it's almost like you're playing against a stone wall. Except he's got a pawn on E5 instead of E6. But I feel like if the opponent can play F5 and D5, and you can play E4 anyway, he's put so much effort into controlling the center there, and you're just playing E4 anyway. And I also think that, like, thematically, you're controlling a lot of white squares in the position when you play for E4. I mean, the same with C4. So both of these moves, if you reverse this position, like E4 is not considered, E5 is not considered a really great move. You can play like knight A6. Here's another move you could play, reverse knight A6. Engine doesn't like this too much. But I think that it's crap because this is a variation that's actually respected with colors reversed. Knight F6 and then E5. This would be Totally normal. With knight on a3 actually helps a little bit here. So, queen e1 I don't like. Astrobate. I mean, sorry. You bought us. Astrobate, it's all your fault. So you play queen e1. Why am I condemning this here? I don't mind a queen trade, to be honest with you. If you're afraid of queen trades, this wouldn't be the spot to be afraid of a queen trade. This position, you know, or that structure's bad for black, or this, probably the better option for black. But I mean, if you're afraid of like trading queens against a low rated player, don't be afraid of trading queens here, because black has a wealth of weaknesses all over the place. I mean, like literally his whole position is just riddled with weaknesses. I don't think that you need the queens on the board here to have good chances to win with white in like an exchange variation. So I don't think there's any reason to fear trading queens. Just play e4 right away. Queen e1. Nevertheless, okay, it's going to bottle you up a little bit, the queen on e1. And this move, again, not really necessary. Can we play e4? Oh, this reminds me of a knight a3, knight a6 style line. Look at this. Bang. You undermine his whole... I'll turn off the engine so I'm not cheating, but it makes sense. I mean, thematically, you would undermine his whole position. So again, like, I think you can just play e4 no matter what. Secret sauce exists only in McDonald's. Spectacular camel. Okay. Knight c3 is not necessary. You're putting on a little too much sauce. Man, a6. Dude. There it is, e4. Over-prepared. It's been overcooked. This burger is overcooked. Still good, though. Now we want to play as active as possible. Knight d5. You just keep deflating all my hopes every move. I really want to play this move. It's a bit more active. You gotta be white, you know? You can't play like you're black. You've got an extra move. Computer's actually considering knight a4. Knight a4. Great. Oh my god, I was looking at this. This is pure speculation. It's like the Cochrane Gambit. I didn't think this was sound. The computer thinks it's almost sound. The computer likes this. You're trying to use your queen here. I'll be frank though, I don't really like this. I don't really like this. I feel like our queen is actually in the wrong place because all these weaknesses are on the white squares, particularly. That's the biggest weak point in his position. Now our queen has been shifted over to a dark square. So the queen is actually incapable of taking advantage of the weak squares in black's position here. And we have the Dread Knight on e2. The Mar del Plata Dread Knight. It's got nowhere to go. You know, Kasparov will have to play King h1 and Knight g8. No, wait, how does it work? This doesn't look right. Right, and I don't know what we're doing now. If this were colors reversed, normal King's Indian, you know, your queen would be on d1 and your knight would be like on a3. Put your knight on a3 and your queen on d1 and I know what I'm doing. But in this position, with the knight on e2 and the queen on e1, I have no clue what I'm doing here. Right, similar to Cochrane's Gambit. That's a good point. This levy is going to collapse, you know, like a hurricane. Very, very weak queenside levy there. That's not going to last. b3 looks feeble. The Astrobate bishop. I told Astrobate... Actually, I don't mean to be too harsh, Ubatis, but I think that you're unimproving your position. Like, this would normally be the plan to bring the bishop back from b2 to c1. where it actually gets back in play. It's possible that your bishop is on a better square on c1 than it is on b2. And seriously, I'm not gonna really, you know, baby you and lie to you guys. I mean, this seriously looks like you might actually be going in reverse here. I seriously might bring that bishop back from b2 to c1. You got a knight c1 maneuver in mind? That's like an English defense maneuver. He's trying to hold up the inevitable pawn onslaught on the queen side. It looks virtually impossible to stop that. And then a4. Just no stopping this break. I mean, he's coming, he's crashing through. The c4 will happen. And I don't think that a4 necessarily improves our hopes. I think white's in a lot of trouble here. Let's check. -2. I just see a crash. You know, the market is crashing along the C file, and there's nothing you're going to do about it. But knight b4 may or may not be a good move. And then, okay. Oh, I admit my queen's on the wrong square. So basically, Spectacular Camera, like, I think that queen e8 is interesting, queen e1, but not particularly effective against the 4 pawns attack. Yeah. It's too late. Man, this guy played the opening weird, but now he's like a genius. He's got perfect coordination. c4 just rolls you off the board. He just lost his mind. I mean, if he plays c4, what are you going to do here? This looks really, really bad. Maybe you can take and play like c3 and pray for mercy from everlasting, all-powerful demigod. Maybe this somehow could survive. It looks awful for white. No, but seriously, this might somehow work because he can't go back without dropping his c-pawn by the miracle of life. You're this close to getting rolled. But this move I don't like. I don't know what he's doing. It's a sort of hope chess. Like, if you play f4, I'm going to fork you. You know, it's like, okay, but that has nothing to do with black's correct plan, which is like playing c4. Now you played c3, okay. You could also just kick him out with h3. Knight g4 was a terrible move. He trades off his pawn, okay, takes. Now your bishop at least is alive. Still, I like black. Very good control of d4. Yeah, another controversial move here by black. It just looks like the C file is a little better. He was thinking that you take over the C file, but I don't think there's anything there. This just looks like clear advantage to me, to black. So I think he doesn't need to do this to create the imbalance. Still, black has played great. Now it looks a little bit problematic. Oh no. The whole piece completely gone. Look. No h5, no g4, no e4, no d5. And if you go back to e8, you lose the whole rook at a8. Good job. Good job, black. Thank you. Yeah, that's sad. Very sad. And now you're just up a piece for nothing. Up a piece for nothing. Easy game. Actually playing ultra conservatively. Ugh. Smothered mate on the way. Where is the smothered mate? He gave up. Oh man. What a disaster for black. I mean, he's such a good position after like 21 moves. Check this out. No, he had already gone wrong here. My bad. So this recapture here. I thought he should play CD. The computer is not agreeing with me, though. The engine thinks that white is okay here. Wow. Oh, so you're winning a pawn. Okay, my bad. So this is already a problem. Check this move out. Wow. Knight f3. Interesting. Bishop d4 was a good move. You got to eliminate powerful pieces like that, but I'm surprised that black is not slightly better. So apparently he's still alright. You could have played e5 right away. But in this case, you know, he has knight h6 at any point to save his knight in the future. So black's alright. Alright, anyway, good win. I don't like the way you played the opening, though. Queen e1 is not appropriate here. You're playing a tempo up in a position where he's playing a risky system, making a lot of pawn moves. You got to tear it up right away. Funny, the engine is actually recommending rook e1 here, which seems kind of weird. I don't know. It looks like Benoni's good, but this is really the most direct. e4. Okay, good game. Next is Nefedov. Nefedov. Is Nefedov in the house, guys? Please don't forget to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Welcome to answer any questions you might have. Still, we're not on lichess. We've got only 19 viewers. Where is Nefedov? My latest over-the-board game. I really didn't want to play. I've never had anyone submit a game to me with this sort of statement before. This reflects someone who I think is depressed. Chess is not fun when you don't want to play. So I'm wondering what does this mean psychologically for Nefedov? My latest over the board game I didn't really want to play. It is honest. But it's kind of ironic to go to the trouble of submitting a game. You know, it's a game I didn't really want to play. I guess you gotta wonder who won the game, because that actually sheds light on what this comment actually means. Like, oh, I'm so good that I can crush people even if I didn't, like, you know, feel like playing that day, or this is why I lost. Let's take a look. The guess is like, this is why I lost. But let's see. So Nefedov is black. He likes to play the Schliemann, and he's really good at it. Oh, Bob is here. What's up? Why should you want to analyze? Exactly. It doesn't make me excited to analyze it. So f5. I found a book I got from Serbia like 20 years ago. Almost 20 years. Actually, it was in 2001, but it seems like 20 years ago. I mentioned this on the stream. The guy actually wrote a book. This one master, like a FIDE master, he wrote a book where he like e4, e5, knight f3, bishop b5, f5. Bishop b5, dubious, he put. It's ridiculous, right? Like, bishop b5 is dubious because of f5. So, here's the interesting point. I recently got, well, I had my friend Joe, who's international master as well, down with me, you know, over the summer, in the spring. And he was contributing to some ideas and stuff. And a couple interesting things here, okay? The first interesting thing is that Joe got a book on the Schliemann, and I think one of the lines that the author was kind of most concerned about was this d3. Junior Tay or something like that, some Filipino, wrote this book on the Schliemann, the most recent one. It's funny because I have a friend, Paul McIntyre, who's a FIDE master from New England, and he was playing this years ago with white. When everybody else was playing knight c3, Paul used to play d3. And I always thought, oh, d3, it's so feeble. You know, how can that possibly be good, you know, a good line against the Schliemann? It looks like really, really insipid and passive for white, and not punishing it or whatever. But it's funny when you look at it, A, the book that we have recommends this for white. B, the statistics are pretty good. And most notably, like, Stockfish thinks this is as good as knight c3. So, I don't know. I mean, you know, usually when you release the tension, I wish Nefedov was here to get his 2 cents about this, but in the early opening, it's usually not correct to make unforced pawn exchanges. So in this case, when I trade this pawn on f5 for the pawn on d3, black doesn't really want to trade this pawn for that pawn. Can you guys... Nefedov, I'm no expert. You're an expert. Nefedov, I mean, what I'm saying is like here, you know the theory, right? But I'm just trying to explain in the sense of, from the perspective of principle, black doesn't really want to exchange a 5th, you know, or in this case for you, a 4th rank pawn for a 3rd rank pawn. This is an exchange that black has to make maybe out of necessity, because if we don't exchange, then white's going to grab the pawn on f5 or something like that. But as, I don't know if you missed what I was saying, Nefedov, because you just arrived in the chat, but this move is recommended in the book by Junior Tay for white as one of the more problematic lines. It seems to be the case. So you might find more people are playing this when an author for black is kind of like saying that this is one of white's best tries. And Joe, my friend, said that white can get like a really comfortable position here. His opinion that this is one of the best lines for white. White gets a comfortable position with like no risk. I was going to play it against Nefedov, actually. What's up, Fuchsia? So d3, do we have to make this exchange? F takes e. Can black try to play without an exchange? F to E is the most popular move. Popular, yes. But as I explained, I don't like the move because of it exchanging a 4th rank pawn for a 3rd rank pawn. We also have to consider the open files. White gets really nasty ideas with the d5 control and the d-line control, whereas black does get limited play along the f file, which is like more important. So I don't know. I mean, like instinctively, I would think like this is the move that you want to play. But it looks like there needs to be more analysis here. Knight f6 is a king's gambit reversed. Well, whatever that is, King's Gambit reversed. Whatever you want to call it, it's a move, and it doesn't score that well with limited, you know. But I would certainly, if I was going to play the Schliemann, I would certainly want to like double, triple, deeply check this Knight f6 to see if it's not as good as f takes e. Anyway, so this is the main line. Knight f6, and then this doesn't look like normal. So I know that queen d3 is the very standard idea. I guess you don't have to play it right away, though. It looks like castles, and then like the next move, you play queen d3. I mean, is this what we typically see? Like here, here, here. So this seems to be the main line. Defending e4 and giving white let's say, white square tricks and chances. I'll tell you why I didn't really like d3 when I first saw this and my friend Paul was playing it. Because when white plays d3, you know, we get this structure, right? It just seems like, well, what does white do next? Like from the pawn structure perspective, like, what is white's plan? I mean, he doesn't have any breaks. What bugs me about this position for white is like there's no break. You know, there's no way to... There's just no way to play, only with pieces from this point on. You can only play with pieces with white, and there's no pawn play. Bothers me a little bit. What's up, Juicebox Wizard? Ladies and gentlemen, how's Asia treating you? Where are you these days? In Vietnam? Alright, greetings, WJ Loof. So anyways, that's the main line. So the guy played knight d2, which obviously like gets in the way of your bishop on c1. This has only been played ever by one good player, Gilberto Milos, and that was when he was probably really young. Alright, knight d2 in the way of the bishop on c1. Chief, thank you for the donation. Chief Bala. So bishop e4. Pavel, this is kind of a weird move, is it not? Bishop b4. Typically, we'd want to put the bishop on c5, but Pavel felt like that was, what, walking into knight b3? You're moving to Thailand soon enough. He's going to be like living in every Asian country pretty soon. Every Southeast Asian country, I should say. Oh, why not bishop c5? I mean, this is an obvious move, right? Knight b3. Are you afraid of knight b3? Like losing time or something? Because this is not a great square for the knight, really. So Pavel's move, I don't like bishop b4. I mean, I think a c3 is a constructive move for free. This is what we get the sense that Nefedov didn't want to play. Take your opponent out of his opening book. I think if you want to take your opponent out of the book, it should be with something kind of neutral. To me, bishop b4 just looks bad. It just looks bad. I mean, like c3, it's part of the structural program anyway. I think you're just flat out losing a move at best here. Nearly getting your bishop trapped in the process. You're lucky you're not losing your e5 pawn. So this is actually not that bad. When we can trade our bad bishop for a knight in a closed position. And by the way, this is one thing that a lot of people don't understand, especially people under 2000. The bishop pair isn't always good, and not every position is one where the bishop pair is an advantage. I used to think like the bishop pair was always automatically an advantage. Even until after I was a master, I would think, oh, this is definitely better for white. But when you have a structure like this, you know, Pavel's structure is so compact. I mean, it's very, very hard for white to kind of break the structure and open the position for the you know, if you can't open the position for the two bishops, what's up? So queen e2, d6, h3. Nice move, h3, huh? That's got to be a weakening of the white king side in the long run. Target. Target. Now, this is a very restrained move from Nefedov with bishop d7. I would think like bishop e6 would be a more active square. The problem is he's going to have to worry about like knight g5. So with knight g5, okay, bishop g8. This is not really a problem, but if he goes to castle, it will be. So let's say Nefedov plays bishop e6, castles. Then we have a problem because of knight g5. Nefedov basically has to make two moves in a row with like bishop e6, castles, king h8, all in one move. You know that's like a park hustler trick. Do you guys ever see, anybody here raise your hand? You ever saw like a New York City chess hustler castle and play king h8 in one move? This is a very old school hustling trick. You just castle king h8 one long motion. Very classic. Knight g5, bishop g8. Anyways, so Pavel just plays bishop d7, castles, queen e7, sort of guarding these squares. He's preparing to castle kingside, and then rook d1. And this is what I'm talking about for white. Like, what is white's plan? Warnacki says, I don't understand h3. He just stopped bishop g4. He was just concerned about getting pinned, I guess. Not a good move. Not a good move, but I understand why the amateur player plays that move. You know, it's a prophylactic move. You see in a lot of positions, but I think that here it's weakening. Castles. We know we're in trouble when Juicebox Wizard and Bob start comparing notes with private messages. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried that Mr. Coffee's not yet here. Mr. Coffee is here. I didn't even greet him. Mr. Coffee, so quiet there. You haven't pulled the trigger yet. Oh, he's so quiet. The quiet, he's like lurking there, ready to snag them. I'm sorry I spoiled your trap. Another mistake by white, I think artificial. We definitely don't want to trade that piece. So it was possible for Nefedov. It's hard to know where the king should go, h7 or h8, honestly. Damn, I mean, Pavel could play bishop e6 here, too. I don't think there's anything wrong with bishop e6. Pavel, did you consider this, like, very seriously? I know that on paper it's like your good bishop and his bad bishop. But if you trade off his bishop pair, period, that's probably good for you. And I think that Nefedov's just about ready, you know, when that bishop decides to go back or something. He's ready to bust a kingside attack. Why wouldn't you consider bishop e6? Man, I mean, because it's your good bishop, you want to sack it on h3. You've got to at least consider it. I also like your endgame here because of the pawn structure. You have a kind of compact structure, and I think you're going to have good chances to put pressure on e4. Even if, let's say, like, bishop h4, just hypothetically, bishop h4, bishop c4, queen f7. Okay, here's a position. After queen f7, I don't know, rook f7? Which way do we take? Peter actually says king f7. Whatever, okay? This pawn, man, you've got rook a4 down the a file, doubling here. Black's actually better. Trading the leg square bishops, getting the queen to e6. I almost did a topless stream today, Juicebox, and I'm glad I didn't because we would get in trouble with you and Bob, for sure. So it's interesting how, you know, Neffy didn't consider this because he liked his white square bishop, which is normal. But anyways, all right. King h8. Uh-oh, what just happened? Forkage. Okay, queen e8. And now the e4 pawn is hanging. But if knight e4, bishop h6, I presume. Actually, what is going on? If knight e4, bishop b6, knight e4, bishop e6, and my head hurts. Can we please understand 100 bits to take it off? No, I don't do that. I'm not a chess whore. Alright, knight takes e4. What are we going to do? Why can't we take this? Damn. Pavel must have seen this. I was spending all my time thinking about bishop takes b6. Look at this move here with this knight g6 thing. That's brutal. So it's completely out of the realm of possibility. All right. So he plays knight e7, which is okay. King h2. We're ready to just blast him with g5. Oh man. Caveman. Nice, nice. This is great though. This looks like Mule Skinner playing the Grand Prix attack or something. Nice job, Nefedov. I think the most natural plan here is like knight h5 and knight f4. But this brute force might be stronger. Here's where like Ibadas, no, let's say Acerbate would have played bishop g4 to induce f3. Right? This is Acerbate's move. Interesting. Oh, this just wins. Yeah, I saw this before. I already went over this. Technically winning position. I was kind of on the fence about bishop c6 here, but I think it's good. I didn't like d5 at all for black. Pablo, tell me about this move. It's difficult to find a plan to break forward. But I thought break forward, whatever. Break out. Get forward. I can't find a good phrase. Bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes. How did you not play this variation? This is because he didn't feel like playing this game. I mean, this looks like over. Like, seriously. This actually worked out. What about knight g3 that hangs b2? Yeah. So Pavel didn't pull the trigger on bishop takes e4, bishop takes e4, rook takes e2. You saw it, but why did you reject it? There must have been a concrete reason. You're a very logical player. You don't just reject things without a reason. There must have been something that you didn't like about it. Because this is like really good for black. It's 2 pawns up, and you have a better structure. I don't want to hear like, oh, it's a bishop versus knight. Didn't want the bishop on a main diagonal. You're 2 pawns up with a better structure. This is just terrible for black. I'm white, whatever. No, I disagree. This was the easiest way to win. I think this move is very risky, but at the same time, yeah, he's got that, doesn't he? Maybe it doesn't matter. This is still very strong. Maybe d4. Anyway, Nefedov's, this is fine. I don't want to be too critical. The way you played it is fine. Actually, yeah, it's still very strong. d5. He breaks through against g2. It's nice. I still think it would have been simpler to do it the other way, you know? See, this freaks me out. I don't like this. Why is my king coming under threat by weird pieces all over the place? There's a chance for cheapos. He's getting a little too close. Don't even tell me you agreed to a draw here. Normally Nefedov like agrees to a draw in this position with king g7. But he was feeling ambitious, so he played king h8. And then said with a little bit of sarcasm. I said I went over this game, but I didn't play through the very end because I thought it was just over. Now you have rook e2. It's nice. Really nice move. He probably missed this, you know, in advance. Great move. Great game. Okay. Good job, Nefedov. I think it was well played for someone who didn't want to play the game. I got another submission from Bob Perfuxia. A Perfuxia. Okay, I'll put that down. Perfuxia. So, what's up, guys, in the chess world? I've been following the chess center of the world. Does anybody know who's winning that? The greatest chess center in the world. Thank you, 60 plus 30 time. No, good job. Good job, Nefedov. Bob's submission. We'll see what it is. Could be scary. Okay, Astrobate is up next. I have very little information at this point. From the Tuesday tournament? Wait. Which one? It has to be that next to Nefedov. Oh no. The Cochrane Gambit. It's a long game. Yeah, Nefedov, was that a... Actually, what was that game? It's like a league? It's a good question from Wasero. Where did you play that game? A lot of people think that Ding Liren is a serious threat, you know, to be the next challenger. He certainly wouldn't be a bad bet, HDFP. Okay, well, this is a long game. Let's take a look. The London Summer Chess League. They can't stop. Astrobate. All right, what's up, man? So e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. I recommended long ago to Astrobate just for fun to check out the Cochrane Gambit against the Petrov. I don't think he's ever submitted a game where we've actually gotten to see him try this, but it's cool. Great practical try. Sacrificing a piece for 2 pawns and a nice center usually. Now white has 2 distinct, maybe even 3. I mean, is bishop c4 a move? Powerless. You mean no power? You have power outages due to the Amazon fires or something. Fuchsia's playing the Cochrane Gambit. Okay, so let's check it out. d4 is the main line. Also, Astrobait, you can check out knight c3. This is a reliable move, if in so much as the Cochrane Gambit is playable. Actually, Luana Rada can actually join our depressed group. Nefirov, Fuchsia. We have a number of people here that you can hang out with if you're feeling particularly depressed. I mean, I don't mean to belittle depression, but, you know, here's a place where you can definitely find people who identify, because we really specialize in depression on the stream. Knight takes e4. The dude just fell for this. You have a club. The morbid joke club. So queen h5 check. It's pretty insane that Reinderman got this against Van der Staren in a 1999 game. I mean, you're not telling me that was a tournament game, right? This could not possibly, like, Van der Staren is too strong a player to allow this in an over-the-board long game. I mean, I would assume this was like rapid chess or something. Oh man, it just makes you want. Doesn't this inspire you to play the Cochrane Gambit? If there's not a game that would inspire you to play the Cochrane Gambit, this is like Astrobase greatest game ever. You made one in accuracy. It was knight takes f7. Congratulations. Fuchsia said, Topalov Kramnik 1999. Most important game in this line is a draw. Kramnik is Mr. Solid in the Petrov. I think that, like, Sarunas Solskis, the Lithuanian, I mean, one of the stronger players that would play the Cochrane Gambit on a regular basis. I wouldn't want to, like, beat Topalov and have a match against Kramnik where I played the Cochrane Gambit every game. I don't think he's going to be getting 50% after a while. I think he kind of maybe played it on a one-off, but we'll see. I'd be skeptical if white can really maintain equality in the Cochrane if we analyzed it really deep with the computer. All right, Astrobait, that was beautiful. But for those of you who are uninitiated, black's supposed to play queen e8, that's the old move, or this here, c5. I don't really like queen e8 that much. You see there's like 3 Solskis games. c5 is the move that I would recommend. I think a long time ago I actually did a video on this for black for chesslecture.com. A site that I'm not directly, you know, affiliated with other than working for them. I'm not a partner, so it's not to my benefit that you guys subscribe to chesslecture.com. But I have been providing content for that site for a long time. Yeah, so I like c5 here. D takes c5, knight c6. And there's a funny variation, bishop c4 check, bishop e6. This seems kind of good. Check. If you like to have fun, this looks like a fun variation to me. I think that black has good chances here. I would prefer to have black rather than white. Okay, anyway. We're on to the next game. Save a Dog. If I can find Save a Dog's original submission, A week ago. That's too long ago. Save a Dog, where is your submission? Maybe I got confused. Dragon B is next. I think I thought Save a Dog submitted. Well, actually, alright. Save a Dog. I just put Save a Dog down because I thought maybe we could go over a game, but I couldn't find any games for this opponent that were relevant that he was trying to prepare for. Save a Dog sent me a message actually just recently. I found some interesting games. This is one that suits my playstyle more closely than others. Yeah, let's do it. So, oh, Varusian against Igor. Okay. Bishop G5, King's Indian. Yeah. Well, I played this line too. It's funny that I played Igor and Varusian numerous times. I played Varusian like twice. I have a couple draws. More losses at first and then mostly draws against Feugl. I think combined against these two players, Kobian and Feugl, I probably have like 7 draws and 5 losses against Feugl. But if you were to play Feugl, he does play the King's Indian, but he also plays G6 on move 1. There's no guarantee, you know, that he's going to play Knight F6 here. Against a weaker, like lower rated player, he's playing Varusian. He was like, they were equal strength when they played this game probably. But I would expect there'd be more likelihood that Igor could play like G6 on move 1. It will transpose though, right? Not necessarily. Black doesn't have to play Knight F6. So, I mean, if he wants to be a little bit more tricky, I think that Igor would play that. And he also, I'm just trying to remember what else he played against me when I was white. I have played E4 and D4 against him. He usually plays some kind of kingside fianchetto. He can also probably play like, I'm trying to think like if he ever played Czech Benoni. He's kind of a specialist in C5 and the King's Indian. So if I were to play this, Feugl has this variation he plays, like Bishop E2, C5, D5. He likes to do this to play a kind of unusual King's Indian with C5 and E5, which isn't that common. It's not that great for black though. There are a couple like decent ways for white to play against this. Petrosian is one good idea with like Bishop G5. Anyway, like this is ridiculous by the way. Like I don't know what your opening explorer or the engine analysis is doing, but like giving Bishop G5 a dubious is like absurd. Inaccuracy is, it's certainly a little exaggerated to call Bishop G5 an inaccuracy. Alright. Let's see what Igor does here. You see, this is already kind of a mistake. I wonder if he would have learned from his mistake against Varusian here. Julio Becerra also played this against me. You know, so it's not unheard of for a strong grandmaster to try to play this. I've had 2 GMs at least try to play like knight on BD7, E5. Well, let's see what Feugl does here. H6, Bishop H4, G5. This is very weakening. I remember this game because it was at the US Championship, and Varusian plays like F4. I think this was when? 2003. So I played in this tournament. I was actually in this tournament in US Championship 2002, December, January. When was the tournament though? 1/17/2003. Yeah, January, that's right. So I remember seeing this game live. Varusian plays like F4 at some point. I've seen people play this. Actually, Esserman played a very similar setup against me. Long time ago. Alright. There's an even older game. Wow, there's an older and newer games. Elvis is a game 2008. One of the better players playing the system with white. So f4. Knight f6 from Igor. And so the computer doesn't like this move. I'd be very surprised if I never had this position myself in a game. With white. But apparently the engine likes e5 here. Peepers. That's a move that's hard to play if you didn't like prepare it over the board. White played d takes e6. Knight b6. Interesting. I have to be fair, honest. Like, I really feel a little awkward when I'm playing white in this kind of position. It's a little artificial. This is a beautiful move by Verusian to play g4. What's the idea, though, after f takes? What are we going to get? Queen g6? I mean, bishop d3? Bishop d3. Guys, you got to keep in mind that Verusian had been playing this variation for a long time. I played him in like 1999, or I played him with black in 1999, and draw. I had a draw with black in Spain when he was just like a teenager. This is like 4 years later when he's already just about a GM. Players who play the system, and myself included, have a lot of experience. And it takes a lot of experience to be able to play this sort of position with white well. g4 is an amazing move. Flegel retreats, g takes f5, bishop takes f5, bishop d3. So it's just a total collapse on the white squares. And another thing was, I would play this setup. It's not that common. Not a lot of people play this line for white. I started playing it because Boris Golko played it against me 20 years ago. I have very good results with white, but it's kind of a positional line, very safe, much safer than playing e4. But I don't think this would work a second time. I think Flegel would have learned his lesson here against the Kobian. It is instructive, though. And Igor just got wrecked. That's a beautiful move there. Tactics. Bishop e6. Check. Here. Mate. I think that Igor just played it out at this point. Kind of like an old school master letting his opponent have some fun there. But he should play it out to mate at this point. I've never really seen Igor lose like that, even against strong players. Very unusual. He wasn't well prepared for bishop g5. So maybe you could get him in that. I would think now, if you play him, he'll be better prepared. Against bishop g5, c5 is good. And I think like d6 delayed c5 is good. And also you can play stuff like d6, c6, a6, and b5 was what Gingy recommended. And I've had some success. I actually lost against Verusian's teacher, Ashat Nadanian, in the New York Open. And it was ironic because it was like right around the same time when I had played Verusian in 1999. And right around the same time I played Nadanian and lost as black in the same variation, and I didn't realize like the connection at the time. I was 3-0 in the under 2400 section at the New York Open, under 2400 FIDE. There were very good prizes for first place. I started 3-0, and it was really brutal to lose that game to Nadanian. Okay, let's go. So next game, we've got Dragon B. All right, guys. I don't know what all the depression is here. I hope Luana comes back. We don't want to see any of our friends here depressed. So no, I appreciate this game. It's actually, you know, even the variation that Igor played is probably not that bad. But like you see, Peepers had this better prepared. He's actually got this analyzed out with the E5. Was it here? No, the previous move. That's a surprising move here, E5. It doesn't matter though, like E6, same thing. DE6, Knight B6. That's the kind of surprising move. Jim, thank you for sharing 200 bits. Sharing cheer rewards with 3 others in the chat. I mean, this is 2400 beating a 2200, but still interesting possibility for black. I think it's a risky way for black to play. I think, like, you know, there's so many other good ways to play. I don't really like knight on BD7 here for black at all. Okay, so going back to Dragon B. Appreciate if you'd analyze the following game of mine on tomorrow's stream. Catalan. Oh no. Dragon B beat me with the Catalan. Now I have to, like, don't even tell me it's the game against me. Do you give a Buick sometimes in golf? Make a reservation for Sunday Simul. Jim wants to make a reservation. Reservation. Do you have a reservation? All right. Anonymous cheer with 7 bits. Who could that be? It's another classical game. Is this... Okay, this is an online game. Dragon B had another good Catalan. Party of 1. Will you be taking a date, Jim, to the Simul? Or is it just solo? Anonymous cheer with 200 bits. Who could this anonymous cheer be? I think Jim might be bringing a date. Oh, a guy approached me. He's under 12 champion in Greece. Oh man, that's kind of scary. So you're making a reservation for another player. I got you. I'll try to keep it noted. C4 knight f6. If you don't mind, Jim, you know, if you don't mind, send me a message just to doubly remind me before Sunday. Anonymous cheer with 1,000 bits. Who is this anonymous cheer? Mega cheer. Anonymous cheer is like unbelievable. Wow. Anonymous cheerer, thank you. I'm gonna send some pandas. It makes the sweating here and the humidity all that much less painful for me. I can't believe we're getting all this anonymous cheer and I'm still like dressed and everything. I thought I was gonna have to do a striptease. I shaved and everything. You guys didn't even mention it. I'm kind of hurt. I got an emote thanks to anonymous cheers, mega cheer. I'm just hurt you guys didn't even mention that I shaved. You know? Anyway, okay, so Dragon B is white. The martial defense is not okay for black. I forgot my Quang Liem towel, guys. Sorry. I'm definitely looking 39. I look like 37 today. Extremely hot here. It's not just hot. I have very bad circulation in this room. So, okay. Dragon B, you always take. Okay? This is one of your countrymen who told me this. So it has to be right. Always take. Especially when it's a central pawn. This is so fundamental. You destroy the enemy's center. when you do this. Demetris, another Demetris. You guys need to get some more names out there in Greece. Everybody's Dimitri. My true age. It depends on how much you've been in the sun and stuff, Bob. You can't really tell. It depends. You know, some people smoke and they've been in the sun, you know, and they look like they're 50 when they're 25. And others, you know, are like 50, but they've been in a plastic bubble or something. They look like they're 25. All right, so Dragon B, I am not going to forgive you if I see this again. You must take on d5. It's always good for white. After knight takes d5, do not play e4. While it's not a bad move, it's best to play knight f3. And now black just simply doesn't have a good option. g6 is not that good. And then if g6, h3, this is given an exclamation point. Shahovsky Informator, right? Like the Yugoslav publication, Chess Informant. A chess, actually encyclopedia of chess openings, circa 1987. h3, exclamation point. Advantage to white. But I guess e4 is also good here. After this point, you can just play h3, knight b6, yeah, h3 on the next move. And you just stop bishop g4. Dr. Danny Kopech played against me bishop f5, and this is probably black's best chance. Objectively. Like, this is a little bit better. So why wait on e4? This is Marshall. That's why they call it the Marshall Gambit. Because after e4, black can play knight f6. And it's actually not that bad. Because the trick is, if you play knight c3, this is Marshall's idea, to play e5. And after pawn takes pawn, you trade queens. And the endgame is actually okay for black. Like, takes, knight g4, forking this pawn. Black is like, okay. This is the Marshall Blitz opening gambit idea. So the best is to play e5. And so what you have now is a Queen's Gambit accepted, where in the Queen's Gambit accepted, there'd be a black pawn on c4 in this position. And so you'd like pretty much have to play bishop takes c4. But here you have additional options. Like you could play just like knight f3 or something. Pano played what? Warnaki. Anyway, all right. Dragon B just ignored it. He transposed to his lucky Catalan. You know, in some circles, people prefer to play knight f3 versus bishop g2. I don't really, you know, I'm not really that into the difference between those two moves. I don't know. But we're always happy when we see c5. For me, at least for me, I'm always happy to see c5 because I love playing against the Tarrasch. If you play c takes d, you're actually playing the white side of the Tarrasch, which I think is a good opening for white. I don't know if black could try... Could black try something weird like c takes d4 here? There's a game that someone tricked Ante Saric and got a draw. That's kind of a weird line. It's possible. So Dragon B, I would play CD. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with your move. You're transposing actually, though. I think by playing this, you're kind of transposing to an English opening by playing knight f3. And this is actually not that bad for white after c takes d. Knight takes d4. e5. Seems to me like this is like a Petrosian line. Petrosian used to play like knight b3, d4. He had some games with like e3. I'm not sure if you play it first or after like you castle. So Dragon, I think you're better off playing the Tarrasch than the white side of a symmetrical English. Therefore, you should play c takes d first. It's actually stronger. Not that this is bad. But anyway, okay. So now you castled. So here Dragon B has a chance to play CD. And I think that, again, forces the Tarrasch, which I prefer. I would prefer that to to playing the Catalan. I think the Tarrasch is even stronger. So after this, now black can take on c4. This is also okay for black. But this is the main line. Then you've got to decide. I had a game with Kosic with white. I think I played queen a4. You got to decide queen a4, knight a3. There's all different moves here for white. But he played c takes d4, knight takes d4, and you played this. Wow, okay, in between move. Just when we thought that Dragon B was going to play knight takes d4, suddenly he goes c takes d. And now knight takes. It's a kind of semi-Tarrasch, it seems like. Ratmir Holmov played black in 1980. You would think that black would play bishop d7 to just take back with the bishop on c6. That looks like the most safe. He doesn't care. Okay. Well, I mean, this doesn't look that bad for black, actually, to be frank. For me, this is a tough move. I mean, I don't think that e4 is obligatory, you know, because you block your bishop, and it's ironic because there's a strong knight on d5, and e4 is probably the only way to get rid of it. But I mean, this move, like they're playing here in the opening book, I mean, you know, putting pressure on c6. We have a lot of different options and a lot of different ways to play this position for white. You know, you may want to wait with e4 because you can play that whenever you want. This is a really interesting question. Dragon B just plays e4 right away. And then this is a mistake. So knight b4, looking for d3. You've got bishop a6, access to c2. Andrei Sokolov here actually lost a game. Okay, he's not a kid. But she's German. This Sarah Hult woman is quite strong. Playing knight b4. Yeah, this is an important move for black. Going passive with knight b6. Always a bad square. Great, great, great play. I mean, bishop's on the long diagonal's good. You've got good blockade against this pawn. But again, black's fundamental mistake was playing knight b6. It's a really, really huge mistake. I don't know about rook d1. I think the d file is a little overrated here. Maybe white should just play like a developing move. Knight on bd2. It's hard to say. Development is overrated. Now black radically changing the structure with e5. There's this. Dragon. Dragon B. What are we going to do about bishop g5? Great, great, great play. Sounds like I'm talking like Donald Trump. Big words. It's hard to come up with stuff on the fly constantly. I understand how he feels, but still. I hope I can do a little better. Queen b8 here. Okay. You lost me on that one. Dragon B just lost me on knight a4. We can't do that. We can't do that here. Different ways to say the same stuff over and over again. That's interesting you brought that up now. Good timing on that, Juicebox Wizard. There's an art to just saying the same thing over and over. There's an art to just not saying anything repeatedly, as we've learned in the last couple of years. It's like talking heads, you know. You're talking a lot, but you're not saying anything. There's that line in an old Talking Heads song. You talk a lot, but you're not saying anything. Queen b8 here. Yeah, this is tragic for white, you know, to play knight a4. It's his worst piece. I think that we point the finger going back to rook d1. I already don't really like rook d1. Can we find a better plan for white here? I mean, is this a problem? I think it's a problem. black potentially playing c5, c4. If he plays c5, c4, he'll free his whole position. My first reaction here is like knight d2. At the same time, like rook d1 might not be a bad move. But we've got knight d2, knight f1, knight e3, knight g4, that kind of stuff. If you do play the knight and trade it, it would be good to go to c4. Let's go back to the previous move and see what the engine says here. Queen e2. That's a weird move, isn't it? Does the computer think about like rook fc1? Or why does it want to put its queen on e2 just to stop bishop a6? I don't think this is bad. But here's a key question now. You put your knight on c3. Where is it going from c3? There's this sort of hope chess here. It's definitely more active on c3 than on d2 in general. And you might have maneuvers with e2, knight d4, or knight f4, knight h5. But I think you really need to strongly stop at this point. And I would say the previous move right here is where white needs to plan. Like my friend Alexander Ivanov, he's big on like trying to figure out the whole game like at one point. Ivanov would like sit here and think for like 25 minutes. Well, okay, in this time control, he would think for 10 minutes, okay? He had 15 minutes left, he would think for 10 minutes in this position and figure out an entire strategy for the rest of the game. You know, that's one way that you can play, but maybe it's not really practical. But I think this is the key position here where you may have the ability, because of the pawn structure advantage, to kind of figure out, you know, a lot about what's going to happen in the future. You really need to figure out a long-term strategy for where your knights are going, how you're blockading this pawn. I think this is the moment to really start thinking and not make automatic moves. Because knight c3, I'm not sure where it's going, but this is definitely a really bad move, knight a4. It's like, you might as well just offer a draw when you played this move. You lost all your advantage. Yeah, it's just... I don't really like f6 for black. It's true. I wonder if there was really any other options, though. Like maybe rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook d8 here. Rook takes rook, rook takes rook, rook d8. Rook takes rook. Queen d8. Threatening queen d1. If queen e5... That looks good. So there are other ways that black could defend. f6 really weakens the white squares. So bishop f1, bishop c4, bishop h3 as well. Probably not a big deal. But it's a bigger deal than I thought because this is coming in. Man, so that's... It's amazing how this game really like went downhill for black quickly after this. I wouldn't play f6, even if I have to lose a pawn. I mean, this just looks too weakening for black. This variation is for real, like take, rook d8. That's why you have to combine tactics and positional play. I think this looks okay for black. Rook d8, queen d8, and bishop f1. White is slightly better. Black can hold. It should be a draw. Okay, so f6 is really the fatal mistake, I think. Even though the computer probably doesn't blame, yet does blame. f6 is that bad. That's amazing how bad f6 is. It basically just loses the game. Kingside weaknesses. Too strong. Man, that's brutal. He stopped bishop f8. That would have won immediately. Now there's like bishop e6, cemento. You could play bishop e6, and then what? And then a5. It's almost like Zugzwang, like bishop e6, a5, followed by bishop takes c5 and bishop f8. He did it this way. Okay, this is good too. Yeah, and there's no stopping bishop f8. Beautiful game, Dragon B. Beautiful game. Yeah, that's a really nice game, man. But you got to take with the bishop on g7. The old masters will tell you, you always mate with the lowest form of material. It's like an honor thing. You have to mate with the bishop there, not with the queen. All right, great game. That's our second really good game today. Nefedov also with a super game. Warnaki's up next, and then good 40%. And Bob. Made with the queen in the middle of the board. Made with 2 bishops in the middle of the board. It's better than sex. That's what I was told. R.I.P. Emery Tate. All right, guys. Yeah. Dragon B, thank you. Cheer rewards. We've got great support tonight. Dragon B, Anonymous Cheer, Jim, Acerbate. We're getting up there. Warnaki, WJ Leaf, Merle, Chief. All right. So, thank you guys for being subscribers. By the way, is our stream showing on lichess? Does anybody know? I don't want to think about things like that, Bob. All right? I have to eat dinner tonight, you know? A little later after the stream, so we would appreciate if you didn't go there. Mixing, you know, chess grandmasters and sex is not really cool. Good job, Mubat. Oh, sorry, I thought it deleted Bob's chat. Nobody's stream showing, okay. Alright, so Warnaki. I wanted feedback on the game I was playing. I won with white. Won on time with white. Capturing on a7 would make any difference. Man, talking about dinner made me hungry. Now you got me started, Bob. You think the Caruana is decent looking? Wait. What? Sorry, I can't agree, Bob. I mean, it depends on how you define decent. I'm not really into, like, you know, judging how guys look, but you can still, you know, you can still do that. No, I don't think so. Sorry, man. Wrong sport. So, Warnaki. Alright, I don't think the Caruana is going to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated anytime soon. But anyway, definitely not the swimsuit edition. Adam, we've got another anonymous cheer? Am I crazy or I missed one? He does look like the nerd from high school. And he reminds you of, and he always did. Even when he was a kid. He hasn't changed. He still looks the same. He still looks like a nerd from high school. He always will. Till he, you know, he's like 50. And you still know that he looked like the nerd from high school. You know he gets a lot of dates. Alright, so Warnaki is white. So... got another Catalan. Ooh, what is this? Unusual setup for black. It's actually surprisingly not that bad. You'd think like knight c6 is... Yeah, well, he reminds me of Dustin Diamond in a weird way. Bob, speaking of which. We're going to go back to that conversation again. But, skinny, nerd-like. Plays the nerd on TV, you know. I play a nerd on TV, and I am one in real life. But seriously, let's focus on chess. Okay, knight c6 blocking the c-pawn. You would think this is just like a bad move out of hand. Surprisingly, it's not that bad. But maybe white should delay c4 so as not to allow for bishop e4 check. I'm not sure. I have probably played this position like 15, 20 games on lichess. Bob, okay, you're going to get a timeout soon. I'm going to give Bob a timeout. It's just too disgusting. 10-minute timeout. No, we can't be doing that. You've gone over the line, Bob. Over the line. Too disgusting. We got to draw the line. We got to have standards here a little bit. I mean, it's all fun and games till somebody loses an eye. Anyway, we'll put Bob in the corner temporarily. He knows the line pretty well. He's walked the line. So here, again, I've played this position like a bazillion times. I think there are two good moves for white. One is to just bust the c4 directly. I like this move a lot. I'm sorry, after black's next. Bishop e7 is a bit passive. Maybe bishop d6 is actually interesting. Funny that there's no games with this move. Because for me, I've definitely faced this in blitz. You hate pushing c4. Oh, hesitate pushing c4. We have issues here with Filipino scamming charities. Dude, everywhere has issues with everybody scamming charities. Like, I can't answer my phone without someone calling me about a fake police charity organization. It's definitely, like, not about, like, you know, nations and stuff. It's like, scams are, like, the biggest thing. The biggest industry in the world is actually, I think, scams. What about this bishop d6 here? Ta-da! Not a single game in the database. Look, 9, 14, 17, 19, 21 games where not one player played bishop d6. But Slaggy's instincts automatically tell you that, like, bishop d6 is the #1 move. That's why I'm, you know, the greatest, basically. I intuitively know that bishop d6 is... No, seriously, I've played this position, like, probably 20 games on lichess against random people. And I've faced bishop d6 against total amateurs and been like, you know what? That's actually a pretty good move. So he plays bishop e7, which is passive. You can bust c4 or you can play b3. And that's about it, you know. c4 is always a good move. Even if, as Fuchs just said, even if you can't get it back immediately, it's always a good move. Basically, the Catalan, and Dragon B will understand this as well, if you really want to look at it, the Catalan is essentially the Grunfeld. They're the same opening. They're also connected to, like, the Tarrasch is basically a Grunfeld. And if you think about it, c4 is part of the overall strategy of, like, destroying his center. Very deep stuff, but I think this is fundamental. You can play the quiet, creepy way with, like, b3, like Kramnik style, b3, bishop b2, and then c4, but I think you're eventually... The self-proclaimed boring chess player, John Hammer, played b3. I mean, something like knight on b2 seems unnecessarily committal. Like, the knight might get the c3 where it's actually more active. So, while this is not a bad move, I don't think that it really puts any pressure on black's position. The key is to use the pawns and the pieces together. And without c4, it's going to be hard to do that. Basically, I think now, like, Warnacki is playing the Prie variation. The French Grandmaster Prie, he has a system. He calls it the Prie attack, where he plays, like, d4, knight f3, and, like, a3 on move 3 and bishop f4. Basically, not always bishop f4. It's always like d4, knight f3, a3 against everything. And then sometimes you go bishop f4 and sometimes you go like b3, bishop b2, depending on what black does. I actually played it one time and I had like a crushing victory with white with a Prie attack. It was an article in New in Chess like 15 years ago about it by Prie, but anyways. Knight d7, very strange move. And then b4. This is a little bit like move 11's b5 and a... Generally, I like this better with the bishop on b2. And you definitely want to play c4. If you lose c4 completely, that's going to be bad. Yeah, and this is just weird now. Probably white's still better. But I just don't like b4. I don't even like a3. You know, I mean, I don't even like bishop f4. You should just play c4. I mean, Then you go from there. But having said that, once bishop f4 is in, I still think you should probably play c4. And even after a3, you probably should still consider playing c4. Although here, I'm a little bit concerned, like he can try to grab onto your pawn and hold it. Kind of cling to it like a lobster. I'm not sure, you know. If he's going to cling to the lobster pawn there, that might be a pain. You know, maybe it's getting too late to play c4. So you played b4, looks kind of weakening. Here's another move I would consider, rook a2. You know, you might play rook a2, just clearance. c3. Black got in e5, but is he losing a pawn here? I mean, is this just dropping? This just looks like gone. I just don't want pesky pawns on c4. Don't fear that. Like, here's, I know our stream is, we still got 50 minutes left. Listen, guys, when I started playing chess and I was like a 1500, I was playing mostly c4 and d4. But even if you played c4, like Botvinnik or something, like you always had people who played e6 on move 1. If you play the English, you still have to deal with the Queen's Gambit decline, no matter what. There's almost no way to avoid that issue of like c4, d5. What if he takes my pawn on c4? One of the things I learned early was you can't be terrified of black like taking a pawn on c4, like Fuchsia said. I mean, basically, if they take the pawn on c4, they're giving up their center, and you're usually going to get it back. So don't be overly afraid of like black taking a pawn on c4. But as I said, I mean, there are some circumstances where if the knight's on b6, it's like really well supported. He might be able to take the pawn and keep it. This just looks like a blunder on the surface to me. Like, isn't black just losing this d5 pawn? Maybe black will have some compensation. I guess not in that variation. Let's try the other knight, okay? Knight takes e5, so the queen protects d5. My other brother, Daryl. Why not? I mean, you don't have any other moves there, right? Like 95, 95. So I was looking at this, and honestly, I think that black has an itty bit amount of compensation, maybe more than an itty bit of compensation. I mean, this actually looks kind of irritating because he's pointing on this diagonal, kicks you out. This bishop has a good diagonal, maybe coming down here bothering you. Maybe bishop e6, kind of focusing on this. I would think that black has like, there's a5 also. So it looks to me like black has some fair compensation for the sacrificed pawn. Let's see what the old oracle says. The scale is like going back and forth, but it's coming down to half a pawn if white plays perfectly. All right. In any case, looks like a tactical oversight, but black shouldn't be dead. But in the game, they like took this way. Okay, queen takes, knight takes f3, bishop f3, c6. Similar, but the queens are on the board. Wow, that's an interesting move, though. I mean, you've got that the little trick of a6 lever. Certainly provocative. I wouldn't play queen a5. Yeah, bishop f3 is probably prone to getting attacked, so you should actually go back to... Well, you like queen f3 here? Still, the queen has lost its way. It's going to be losing tempi, like bouncing back to c2 probably. Or something very awkward like queen e3. You know, the queen is exposed here a little bit. So black has some compensation after knight e5, I mean, no doubt. There's pressure down the files. You've got the weakness on the queen side. I mean, you never should have played like a3 and b4. You know, to be honest, it wasn't great. Computer says he made 5 inaccuracies, no mistakes, no blunders. Obviously, black is not a really bad player. He's got good compensation here. But that's the kind of triumph. That's sort of a triumph for white now, because you don't any longer have like a backward pawn on e2. And anyway, he was going to play c6, so your diagonal doesn't matter that much there. And slowly, it's just like consolidation time. Got the knight out. I like a5 for black, staying cagey. But this is looking like a big problem, like e5. Uh-oh. I mean, is e5 got to be prevented? I mean, can we play queen e7 here for black and try to keep e5 under control? I have a bad feeling about e5. But this isn't the game. My bad. Alright, so this was analysis? Where are we? That was analysis. I'm sorry, guys. So queen a5, knight e5, queen d8. What? Why doesn't he take on f3 check? Like, black's completely okay here. Completely okay. Black might even be better. Yeah, black's just better. So this was lucky. Yeah. Queen a5 was a crazy idea, honestly. You made sort of two dubious moves. Yeah, I mean, how can he not take on f3? So in this line, you gave a pawn back as well. He still doesn't take the pawn back. What? It's like, what? Excuse me? The free pawn? Black's just better. Black has no weaknesses and the bishop pair in an endgame and control the open file. I mean, what more can black ask for in life? That's crazy. What is he doing? Wow. He waited too long till like the c3 pawn's protected, and now you're up a pawn. So he figures the opposite color bishop is a draw. Not always. This is probably a draw, but black has to be careful. Now it's like, yeah, literally a draw. Still, you have the better structure. You have the right to play for a win here. But if you trade rooks, it's just agreeing to a draw. I think that white should try. Like, Magnus would be in heaven here. Magnus just would... He has dreams about positions like this. He can't sleep at night. Opposite-colored bishops with rooks. I like double rooks, opposite-colored bishops. Because if you have double rooks, opposite-colored bishops, my favorite strategy is to like sack and exchange with one of the rooks. Carlsen would grind this all day long, dude. It would be 106 moves, and he'd probably win against a 2700 player. Just the fact that you have the slightly better structure should give you slight winning chances. It's a draw objectively. I mean, but how many times have we seen Magnus Carlsen like beat Karyakin in a drawn position? I can't even like begin to count how many times, you know, like it's just ridiculous. You weren't expecting me. Yeah, see? Gotta be careful. You never know. Your disgusting comments. All right. So is that the end of the game? Let's see the end of the game. You actually... Like, why is this guy not trading rooks? I mean, is black playing for a win here? Excuse me? Hey, I don't want to draw. Let's try to lose. Okay. Oh, now I want to trade rooks. Okay. Whoops. Does that pawn matter? You didn't take the pawn there. Free pawn. It's still a draw. But at least you should take the pawn. I guess the last chance is to like do g5 check or something. Did you know that pawn was hanging? No, I don't want his pawn. All right. If he can have one too. All right, guys. This is a win on time, but all right. It was all about time. It just takes longer to move the bishop to a7, and they had like seconds left, so he just wanted to like make a shorter move, basically. It's all very important bullet strategy. All right, guys, thank you for bearing with me while I point out important bullet strategies. Perfumia. All right, so the last game on the list is Perfumia. Let's see here. Wait, Save a Dog? We already did Save a Dog. So Bob. Sorry, Perfuxia. My bad. Thought it was Perfumia. I can't read my own writing. That would be a good name, though. Because she likes stuff like that. flowery, nice stuff. All right, erotic analysis by Bob. Do I want to like see what this is? This is for fuchsia. This is like dedicated. Brought her flowers and everything. No, I don't know what Bob's up to here. Bob versus me. I don't know what this has to do with fuchsia, but anyway. You've missed me. What? I missed you off? It's a study like fuchsia recommends. All right, we got it. So you put it in a study. Oh, just for fuchsia, you put it in a study. Thank you, Bob, for paying attention. You weren't really the problem, though, Bob. You know, it was like the people that would like submit games like that I had to like create a study because they're putting just like moves, like not even like a board. All right, so oh god, this is the opening. So I wasn't paying attention. This was my game with Bob from the Simul on Sunday. By the way, guys, Simul on Sunday as usual. Tomorrow is Blitz and Rapid. So I don't like this move. I just automatically play Bishop G7 without thinking. So you should play E6. Actually, the better move order for black... Well, there is no better move order for black here. Yeah, you basically have to do E6 here. You know what I'm thinking? I'm so used to playing like G6 on move 2 that when Bob played Bishop C4, I kind of thought I was playing this position, and I played Bishop G7 automatically, and then like C3, and then I would omit Knight C6 and play E6, and that's the best way for black to play. But because I played Knight C6 and Bob played Bishop C4, I wasn't really thinking, and I just went G6. But if I had been really paying attention here, I would more likely not play G6 and play E6. And I guess I've probably played that, you know, before. I think this is a truer test of White's setup. It's nothing special though. Like we do E6, A6. It's like a closed, weird closed English. For the most part, Bob, people don't play Bishop C4. Strong players don't play Bishop C4 unless black plays some kind of second-rate move like G6 or D6. Because D6 means that I can't play D5 in one move. And that's the main place where Bishop C4 really seems to be effective against D6. A lot of strong players, even Michael Adams, Udazian, this is basically considered like a kind of credible system for White. Yeah, random YouTube videos are not really reliable. It's like sometimes you get lucky, but sometimes you get bad ones too. Basically, playing Bishop C4 against Knight C6, you're not going to find a lot of Grandmaster games, you know, where this is played. The only person I can think of is, let's see if he's got a game here. Yeah, this is the guy, Chichak, Slavko Chichak, against Katronius. Chichak is like the only person I can think of who plays a system for White. He managed to draw Katronius with it, but he's got his own weird ideas of like playing Queen E2 really early. I've also seen Chichak play it on move 2, which is really obscure. You see here, there's a game against Pia Kramling in 2007. The guy's a really, really good player. I think he's like 5-0 against me in Blitz. One of the only players I remember like I never got a draw against him. But yeah, it's just not really, really good, Bob. You should really wait for black to play like D6 or G6 before you play Bishop C4, I think. But I wasn't paying attention, so this justifies your setup. I played G6, and you played C3, which is a good move order. And here I think it would be interesting to play E6. What's wrong with this move, and why are there no more games? Why are there no games with E6 in this position? Again, Master Shredder knows all. Like, look. Stockfish, #1 move, E6. Wait, stop the presses. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 games, and only one player played the best move for black? It's not a refutation. It's just a matter of e6 is the best move. Mathematically, like it seems for black. You got from beginner to 1800 by just watching YouTube videos. Yeah, but you develop a lot of bad habits like that, and that's the problem. That's why, you know, you just should learn the right way the first time. Now, like if you ever get lessons from a strong player, you'll have to unteach you all the bad habits that you developed. If you're happy being 1800 for the rest of your life, it's no problem, you know. But if you want to go beyond, then like I or some other like professional player is going to have to like brainwash you of all the bad habits that you have, which is hard to do. And the older you get, you know, the more difficult it is to get brainwashed. You know, mentioning that, it occurs to me that like I think that at some point Korchnoi said he relearned the game. Pretty rare for like a strong player to claim that they relearned chess at one point. But all right, c3. So I messed up. I played bishop g7. Bob plays d4. Takes. I recalled like this was a move, but this looks like suicidal for black. So the only way to play here, I realized, is d6. But I think this is just a good position for white. And we're following a game where Nepomniachtchi lost in 2005, old school. So h3 Bob seems early. See, I'm not threatening bishop g4 because you can go bishop takes f7 check, king f7, knight g5 check, and just turn me out on my head with the tactic taking on g4. Since bishop g4 is not a threat, therefore you don't need to play h3. It's not an incisive move. So you have to find the best move for white here. What could that be? What am I threatening? I'm actually threatening nothing. So what about this? What if you just play bishop b3 now? Maybe that's a good move. In fact, it is. The problem would arise after knight f6, knight c3. I could play bishop g4. There's this game from, I don't know what, it was a c3 Sicilian. Godena plays a c3 Sicilian. European Championship or something. This guy's really good, Daniel Verny, but he's young there. This is the question, bishop g4, bishop e3. Then something like castles. Black's position is slightly worse, but playable. This is basically what I would have gone for. But anyway, bishop e3 is an interesting move. It's not necessarily the only move, though. Let's see. A couple people played knight f6. Wow. Babula played knight f6. It looks kind of crazy. He played this. d5. A Chichop game. Yeah, this looks dubious to me, to play knight f6. I think you have to play d6. Isn't bishop e3 the same concept as h3? A move too early? Okay. Let's agree. Okay, let's say you have two good moves in this position, either castles or knight c3. Two universal moves. Let's play one of them. Now after knight f6, now we have to decide what to play. Now, Godena played bishop b3. Yeah. I like this. You know, this seems like a good way for white to play. It avoids the fork trick that I did to you with knight takes e4. You don't want to allow that. What Bob did was h3, knight f6, and then after knight c3, I could have taken here immediately, and it was my second sort of mistake, technically. But I wasn't sure about this, because it's like the Pirts, you know. Sometimes you allow this bishop takes f7, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. It's very hard to know, all, you know, just out of hand, like, you know, without deeply analyzing it, is this a good time for bishop takes f7 or not for white, you know? Apparently it was fine for me. So I should have done it right away. Yeah, that's the point of bishop e3. It avoids the fork trick, simplifying. And that's what happened to Bob. He loses his advantage because of this. He should have an advantage because I messed up the move order. So it's like knight f6, knight c3, castles. I missed my chance. And now Bob could have played bishop b3. And check it out. Now look at the score. Knight a5, great move. b5, okay, that's probably like one of the best tries. b6, also like a reasonable try. Queen a5 is garbage. e5 is ugly. So it looks like b5 would probably, you know, something like b5 would be my try. We'll go for this. So this is Godena against Daniel Verney. The best try for black, it looks like. The only way to be dynamic. White is still a little better. White has achieved the ideal pawn center. And that's why my opening was a fail, because of my messed up move order. Anyway, so Bob made an instructive mistake. He castles, he allows me to play knight takes e4. Wow, that's incredible. Nobody played this move but me. You see, I told you guys I'm a genius. The Nepomniachtchi didn't even play it. What did the Nepomniachtchi do? Bielikov, another very experienced player. Two extremely strong players, and me. And it's a simul game, and I find the right move, and Nepomniachtchi and Bielikov unable to play knight takes e4. That's why you guys are watching the stream, you know? I mean, I might not be a grandmaster, but I'm capable of finding better moves than these guys. So, knight takes e4 against Bob on the fly, the best move. Proven here by Stockfish. Bishop takes f7. I'm not sure that's Bob's best reaction, by the way. Maybe Bob... No, he has to. Because if he plays this, it's just really bad. I mean, I guess this wouldn't be that bad. Like, take, knight c3. It's kind of insipid. You give up your bishop pair for nothing. The other options don't look so enterprising either. Like this. This is like down a pawn with very little compensation. I think I had a game like that, actually, against somebody not that long ago. Alright, so the game was knight takes, bishop f7. It's a Peertz theme. It's more like a Peertz than Sicilian now. And then there's knight g5. So, and here we got to an interesting point. Bishop e3, not a great square, but he needs to develop. Okay. The question is, what should black do now in this position? I thought about just playing e6, but there's like d5, which gets kind of weird. I'm not sure if I like this or not. Though maybe I could just play actively here. I don't know. King knight b4 is absurd, right? LPDO. LPDO, my friend. No, this is also LPDO, but no, it's not absurd. Maybe. I don't like that it's not protected, and like queen b3 can hit it. But it's definitely not absurd. It's an idea. I mean, you've got ideas. Look, if I could get... You know, I want to play bishop e6, but I lose a piece, right? Actually, I don't. I could play this. That's a variation I didn't consider. Not that great, though. Alright, so let's see what the Oracle says. I played the best move. God damn it, Jerry. No, it said d5. It changed its mind to d5. I looked at this. But I didn't like it. I thought that it was too many pawn moves. I was too loose here. Not sure what the best move is. Let's see. Bishop f5 and then knight g3. And here I thought for a while. Let's see. Yeah, wow. What? Okay, I didn't spend all my money. My money and my mind on my money. Okay, I seriously, I'm going to sing some Snoop Dogg now or something like. No. Just getting weird and kind of tired. 42 minutes down to 22 minutes on this because I like thought a lot on some other games. That's the problem with doing 25 word simul, but I recall being very concerned my bishop was going to get trapped by like g4. Then I started thinking about it. I was like, well, actually, how is he going to trap my bishop? You know, is he going to play like g4? Well, in order to do that, he has to like move his knight and play g4, and then I can put my bishop on e4. So the more I thought about it, the more I realized that actually, like, my bishop is in no danger. War of ideas. Who is War of Ideas? dissing my friend, you're calling him stupid. That's not right. Definitely not cool. Anyway. He was a friend. He was a friend of many people. New England chess. But I'm definitely not happy with anybody calling him stupid. He was a great guy. E6. Not Jerry Chess Network. So I like this move. Queen d2, king h7, knight f5, rook f5. This is a beautiful thing. The rook on d5. Here, Bob, I thought played kind of brilliantly. I mean, I already have ideas sacking an exchange on f3 to just destroy his life. That's like a rook takes c3 Sicilian sacrifice. The Gormley fan club just subscribed. Wow. It's like Mark Hebden's Smurf account or something. What's up, Gormley fan club? All right. Rook takes f5, b4. I like this, Bob. Bob gets some activity with this b5 pawn sacrifice. I mean, maybe it's a little over the top. I guess the truth is that I wasted time here. Like, rook d5 was a little too much. I should have just played, like, queen d7 and been compact and prepared to double the rooks and sack an exchange on f3. If b5, I can just pop my knight back to e7. I've got a great square. So I should have been thinking in terms of, like, putting a knight on d5, not putting a rook on d5. I became kind of fixated with the stupid idea of putting my rook on d5 because it's so aesthetic. But it's actually better to have a knight there. And my knight's in danger of getting kicked. This is not great for white, but I thought it was an inspired sacrifice by Bob. Because otherwise, he's getting kind of squeezed here. So even if it's not correct, yeah, tunnel vision. Even if this is not correct, let's give Bob like partial credit for like making an aggressive like kind of positional pawn sacrifice. You changed your name for the British Championship commentary. Did not realize that it would take 2 months to change it back. It was past pawn 99. Okay, that's cool. Past pawn 99 is back. Welcome back. Under a new name. So inspired pawn sacrifice by Bob. I like that, Bob. I don't know if you played it because I suggested it, or you played it. You listened to my stream while I'm... It's not true you had no other moves, though. You had to have some sort of ordinary moves here. Let's turn off the engine. But you have tons of ordinary moves, don't you? You could do, like, Ubatis' Queen E1. Queen E1. Attacking E6 indirectly. Keeping B4 protected. This is not that stupid. I mean, Queen E1. It's really not that stupid. The other thing about Rook D5 that's bad is that I took away all my chances to play like this exchange sack, which was a cool idea. Anyway, so I end up having to take the pawn and kind of cede the initiative to Bob a little bit here. I thought that D5 was really interesting now. That's what he did. So Bob is just a pawn down, but everything else is in order. You know, he's got the solid placed pieces. His king is a little safer than mine. His queen is monstrously centralized. His rook is active. When you've got a situation where everything is good except for like being one pawn down, I think that you're holding. You know, you really shouldn't lose because everything, it's just like one weakness, you know? And Bob just freaked out here with bishop takes a7. This is impulse control. Do you guys think that Bob has problems with impulse control? Did I miss rook f5? It just occurred to me now. Like, he played bishop a7 and I took the piece immediately. Is it possible that I had bishop takes a7 instead of just taking it right away, like rook f5 would improve my position somehow? My rook would be like way more active on f5 than it was on f8. It just occurred to me here. It's funny, that's how being a spectator is sometimes better than actually playing the game. You can see the board more clearly because you're like objective. You're not biased by what happened before. It just popped in my mind that this might be a major improvement. Bob just didn't see queen c6. We totally understand, man. But I want to know if I missed the best move here. Apparently not. Apparently not. But I didn't even consider it, and I should have at least considered that move. So I take, he takes, and he missed queen c6. I honestly thought that Bob saw it, and that Bob was a genius, because he had planned all this out to sack the exchange on g7, play queen d4. I was impressed with Bob's calculation. Now the truth comes out that Bob didn't see it in advance. We're all very, very disappointed. We've lost all respect for him now, because this wasn't planned 5 moves in advance. This was just a resource he found out of desperation. I lost all respect for you now, Bob. I thought you saw this all in advance. Damn it, Bob. This is a tough ending, actually. I guess objectively black is winning, but not that easy. You know, it's really not that easy, because the king is exposed and these pawns are kind of weak. His knight isn't bad. It's hard to attack his king. Gormley Fan Club, thank you, 300 bits. Hands in the handkerchief. Okay. So, it was kind of an epic endgame. I mean, I'm sure for like Stockfish, this is apparently an easy win. Yeah, that's all fine and good if you're playing perfect moves. But let's see, in just a couple moves here, I started to have trouble making progress. Bob was very diligent. He did not let me trade queens. I wanted to trade queens here. He had a chance to win a pawn. He showed good judgment. Because if he plays queen h6, all that I need is like one pawn. I think this has got to be winning. Although we should probably calculate this to make sure. Rook c2. I would think king g3. Like, look how close this ending is. If you take on a2, it becomes very close. It's probably a win with like perfect technique, but very, very hard to play perfectly with little time left. So I still thought that Bob made a good judgment here, not allowing me to trade queens. And he just hung tough. Like, he kept avoiding the exchange of queens, staying tough, staying active. Again, he avoids the exchange of queens, but I was able to force more weaknesses in his position. And I was really, really low on time. And he also got his a-pawn moving, which is a good decoy. And now I've weakened my king side, and he went right for that. So I don't know if there's any point where Bob is hanging on. I mean, it was really, like, close. But I have to keep him busy. And then this was the silent killer, king g7. I think he's banking on rook c8, queen g6 check, but the thing is, after king g7, there are no checks. And then we got to this situation where basically he had to trade queens, and then the a-pawn is falling. But he has a series of checks and little tricks with a knight. So it was still close at this point. And I mean, maybe I made a mistake around here. King d6, king d4. We talked about this after the simul, but right here, king c6 is apparently a big mistake. Stockfish is saying this is close to a draw. Again, I want to thank everybody for donating. This is a huge night. I mean, there's a lot of forks. The pawn is very annoying. Bob played f4, apparently a bad move. Like, he could play knight d3. Look, man, this is a tough ending to hold. It's probably lost, but still. f4, take, and now rook a7, and apparently this is a blunder. But I have like a minute left. I mean, generally speaking, you want your rook active behind the pass pawn. So yeah, if I thought I could get this in, rook c8 I would never find. Maybe rook b8 though. The idea didn't occur to me, but it's like a bluff. Like, I'm threatening rook I don't know, down to b1, let's say. And if he plays a7, I just go back and win the pawn. So that doesn't work. So this is a really strong move. Rook b8, trying to get some distance with my rook. I played rook a7, and now my rook is still bottled up. Basically, I was just trying to find a move, you know, that I didn't lose on time. And I found this move. And he can't defend the pawn with the king. So he has to go back. I go back over here. His 3 pawns are really sort of strung out. So it's sort of problematic for white. Zugzwang type stuff with the knight. Now, here, 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 here. And Bob is lost. Now I have a strong passed pawn, easy to support, and he's losing the a6 pawn. So it's over. But Bob, a really great effort, man. I thought you put up wonderful resistance in this game, and even though you lost, it was definitely one of your most complete efforts. You didn't resign too early, and I think you're making strides. So that's it, guys. I think that's it for today. We've got through all the games that were submitted. I want to just say thank you to Mr. Coffee and all you guys for joining the stream. We're going to be back on Friday with Blitz and Rapid Chess here, usual time, 5:30. Also, Sunday Simul, as always, we're going to do 5:30 on Sunday. We've got Saturday night off. I want to thank everybody, especially Mr. Coffee. Haven't seen our other moderator around. There's still time left. Get a Blitz game in there. I'm hungry, Bob. I'm hungry. Gotta go eat. I'm going to take off a little early here. Sorry, War of Ideas. I didn't get it. No, misunderstanding there. So, no problem. I thought you were criticizing Jerry. Jerry was crazy, but we liked him. I appreciate it. I'm glad you straightened that out, because I really didn't know what you meant. Anyway, Acerbate, Jim, thank you guys for donations. Yeah, Jerry was a good friend. Not a close friend of mine, but always, you know, Jerry Williams, always good to see him. And he was loved. So anyway, guys, I will see you later. It'll be Friday, tomorrow night, Blitz and Rapid Chess. I'm going to get some food, and I'm going to take off a few minutes early, kind of fried. It's been a long day. Thanks, everybody, for the submissions and for supporting the stream. Jim this week with 1,050. Dragon B, 1,000. Acerbate almost closing in on 1,000 with 925. We've got Gormley Fan Club, Warnocky, WJ, Merle Dixon Chief, and streaming donation from someone on Sound last Sunday. So guys, you can also donate via PayPal directly or click on the Panda GIF and Streamlabs it. You guys are all welcome. Again, thanks, Mr. Coffee. You're the best. Also, Mr. Coffee, thanks for setting up the team for the Tuesday tournament. I will see you guys later. Appreciate it. Check out my eBay. Going into the home stretch for eBay. If you want to buy any eBay items, probably going to be keeping them up there for another month or so. I've got to sell my house, so there's eBay items for sale. Not really chess related, just random stuff. Anyway, guys, I will see you later. Take care. Don't forget to check out the YouTube channel, Video Chess Training on YouTube, and hopefully get it over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Maybe in the future I'll get the YouTube channel really, functioning in a normal fashion. I will see you guys later. Thanks again. IBYM, Bob, thanks everybody. Bye-bye. Hey, you better be here for Friday, okay? Bye-bye. That wasn't nice, dude. You should be more polite to them. We're still on. Damn it.